plague. Mutants will get the blame. But someone else cooked up this virus.
First mentioned in the X-Force comics in 1993, the Legacy virus was the brainchild of Fabian Nicieza and Greg Capullo, and it changed the trajectory of mutant lives across the Marvel Universe. The virus's origins can be traced to the wicked villain Strife, who left behind a canister containing this plague as a cruel joke on mutants worldwide. This was Strife's idea of leaving behind a legacy, and it killed millions of mutants before it could be contained. Today, we shall explore this virus in detail and tell you about its history, functions, and how it was finally eradicated by the X-Men. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin.
Of oblivion to your world.
Look out!
A brief history of the Legacy virus. The Legacy virus originated when Cable's evil clone Strife handed the canister full of plague to Mr. Sinister, claiming it contained 2,000 years worth of genetic material originating from the Summers family. In reality, the canister contained a virus inspired by Apocalypse's virus to eradicate non-mutants in the future, and Strife had tweaked this design to create a virus that would eliminate all mutants. While Mr. Sinister held onto the canister, a scientist named Gordon Lefferts stumbled across it while working under him. Strife had already died at the hands of Cable, and Gordon opened the canister to find nothing inside. While he assumed it was an empty can, Strife had stored a deadly plague in it as a legacy to the world. This airborne virus spread like wildfire and unleashing chaos in the mutant world, claiming the lives of Burke, Magic, and Mastermind among others. While the first couple strains of the virus were only harmful to humans, a third mutation known as Legacy 3 could even claim human lives and cause further harm to the population. While we explore the X-Men's role in eradicating this virus in detail later, Beast developed a cure and needed a mutant to sacrifice their lives to make it work. Colossus stepped up and gave up his life in order to stop the virus's spread, but he was soon resurrected by Ord by using alien technology. Colossus's body was then used for an experimental formula to undo mutations, but thankfully the X-Men stepped in and saved him before things escalated. While the Legacy virus was contained, the sudden plague and rapid cure had several consequences for the mutant nation at large. When the virus was at its peak, thousands of mutants were quarantined under Magneto's watchful eye. As the cure worked, all these mutants were covered in the blink of an eye, leaving Magneto with an army of mutants and an opportunity to use them to conquer the world. While the threat of the Legacy virus was dealt with, its creation inspired Singularity investigations to design a new virus to kill mutants. Jamie Madrox used the term Legacy virus for this new invention, but we don't know if Singularity attempted to recreate Strife's virus or create a new one with the same intention. During the Secret Invasion or story arc, Beast stumbled upon some information regarding the Super Skrulls' vulnerability to the Legacy virus. Super Skrulls with X-Men powers could then be defeated by using this against them, and Cyclops came up with a plan to have the Legacy virus placed on the surrounding X-Men's outfits. In this way, they managed to infect the Super Skrulls and defeat them when they attempted to invade San Francisco. A few story arcs later, the Sapiens League joined hands with the Leper Queen and worked under Bastion's orders to infect several beings such as Hellion, Surge, Fever Pitch, Beautiful Dreamer, and Boom Boom with a new variant of the Legacy virus. They intended to blow them up and shift the blame onto the mutant population, thereby accusing them of terrorism and creating an opportunity to set up the Mutant Response Division. They succeeded in blowing up Beautiful Dreamer and Fever Pitch, thereby killing thousands of humans before X-Force decided to scratch this plan. Mystique had once commissioned the creation of a virus strain that would only attack non-mutant humans and leave mutants entirely untouched.
I left.
Have you forgotten this? Sickness everywhere, millions dying.
What is the Legacy virus, and how does it work? The Legacy virus originated in the distant future from Apocalypse, who created it with the intention of killing all non-mutants. During this time, the alternate version of Apocalypse was killed, and his virus ended up targeting humans indiscriminately. Hence, it was not put to use, and the time-traveling terrorist Strife got his hands on it and tweaked it before traveling 2,000 years in the past and unleashing hell upon mutants. It had two initial forms, Legacy 1 and Legacy 2, but over time it mutated into Legacy 3. All versions of this virus spread through the air, but there were minor differences between them. The Legacy 1 strain attacked all the bodily cells, and thereby creating a condition that can be described as aggressive cancer. This strain had attacked Colossus' sister, Elena Rasputin. On the other hand, the Legacy 2 strain targeted X-factor genes and caused a slow deterioration that manifested in the form of symptoms like skin lesions, fever, and body weakening. This strain was quite similar to Strife's initial template, which was designed to stir up a war between humans and mutants. It was wired in such a way that it selectively attacked mutants and slowly weakened them over a long period of time until they lost all their powers. Both of these strains did operate similarly in a way, as they searched for the target's X-factor. If they failed to find this X-factor, the viroid would die, leaving the person untouched. However, if it detected the X-factor, it would insert junk DNA sequences into the being's mutant RNA's transcription coding. This would typically happen when a mutant first attempted to use its power after being infected, and it would affect the transcription process to an extent where one's body would stop creating healthy cells. As the body became incapable of creating new cells, the individual will deteriorate and eventually die. While Legacy 1 and Legacy 2 were created with the intention of causing harm, Legacy 3 was unintendedly created in the body of a mutant, Infectia. Infectia had the ability to scan and view the genetic structure of a living being, and she ended up contracting the Legacy virus. Her powers tried to resist the virus, which resulted in a replication error in the Legacy 2 viroid in her body. The viroid was conditioned to leave her body alone if no X-factor was found, but her body's resistance caused the viroid to lose this ability. At this point, this strain could infect mutants as well as humans, as it had been stripped of its ability to distinguish between the two. While Infectia was dying, Henry McCoy had mercy on her and briefly let her out to look at the night sky for one last time. This ended up spreading the Legacy 3 strain of the virus across the world, and mutants as well as non-mutants were exposed to this lethal plague. How did the X-Men deal with this threat? As the Legacy virus continued to spread through the mutant population, the mutants and their allies were desperate to find a cure. One of their allies, Dr. Moira McTaggart, ended up contracting the virus strain and almost made a breakthrough while looking for a treatment. She shared her discoveries with McCoy, but she was sadly killed in her research lab on Muir Island during a terrorist attack orchestrated by Mystique. Thankfully, Professor Xavier ensured that Moira's efforts were not in vain, and he used telepathy to retrieve her knowledge before she died. Beast then combined his research with Moira's knowledge and successfully synthesized the cure by reverse engineering a benign strain of the virus. This strain reversed the effects of the harmful virus strain, and releasing harmless viral strains in the air could have potentially cured every infected mutant in a matter of days. However, this cure came at the cost that it would only work after claiming the life of the first mutant that would be exposed to this strain. Beast then decided to scrap this cure and look for a new option. However, the mutant Colossus had just lost his sister Illyana due to the Legacy virus. While he had left Magneto's acolytes, he returned and learned about his teammate Beast's cure. He then volunteered to sacrifice himself to implement the cure, as he did not wish for any other mutant to suffer the same fate as his sister. He snuck into Beast's lab, injected himself with the cure, and activated his mutant abilities, thereby transforming his body into organic steel. This ended up supercharging the cure. It eradicated his body while also successfully putting a stop to the Legacy virus. While the mutants were cured, it had been suggested that the virus could reappear in the near future. It had been implied that a few mutants continue to have a small strain of the virus in their body.
Not feeling very well.
Marvelous verdict. To sum it up, the Legacy virus truly created quite a lot of trouble for the mutants. Strife most certainly managed to leave behind quite a legacy. The X-Men faced a lot of challenges while trying to contain the virus, and the combined efforts of Colossus, Moira McTaggart, Beast, and Professor Xavier finally proved fruitful in the mutants' fight against this deadly virus. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one, and be safe.
But this is fascinating.